I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Education to order. Chris, could you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Detzel?
Here.
Mr. Harlow?
Here.
Mr. Heather?
Here.
Mr. Engel?
Here.
Mr. Detzel?
Here.
Would you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everyone has received a copy of the meeting minutes for the organizational meeting from January 9th. May I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Are there any additions, corrections? Okay, Chris, could you call the roll? I'm sorry, call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0. You now all also have copies of the tax budget meeting that was on January 9th as well. Have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded for the tax budget meeting minutes. Are there any additions, corrections? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0. And finally, the meeting minutes from the regular meeting on January 9th. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Again, any questions, corrections, additions? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0. January is the only month that we have 3 meetings in one night. Okay, this time we'll turn this over, I believe, to Pauletta.
Yes, at this time, would Pauletta Crowley please come forward, and we are going to let everybody know what's going on for School Board Appreciation Month.
Yes, we would like to take a few moments to thank the individual members of our Board of Education. The Governor of Ohio has proclaimed January as School Board Recognition Month, and the Ohio School Board Association has presented each of our board members with a certificate thanking them for the endless hours they put into their positions and the wonderful job that they do for our students, staff, and community. And we also have a couple of groups this evening who would like to personally thank our school board. So I'd like to begin with Miss Emily Stepanek, is the principal of our Houston Early Learning Center, and she has a few students with her who would like to present you with some cards of thanks.
Oh my goodness. Cards are bigger. Scaredy.
Thank you.
And these are some beautifully shy little people that would like to present you with their cards.
Thank
Thank you. Sign these?
Oh, wow. These are great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Look at all these signatures.
Wow.
This one says, "Thank you for helping us learn."
This one says, watch us grow.
This one says thank you, and all the kids signed their names.
This one says thank you, and there's 2 pictures inside.
And you got
kids
handprints.
sign their names too, yes, and I did get handprints on the front. Very nice. Thank you.
This one says thanks for
Ms.
caring.
Stepanek, if you could wait with your
Thank
students
you.
just until the end of the thank you presentation, I'd like to take their picture. Okay. And then from Struble Elementary School, we have kindergarten teacher Ms. Rowe, who is going to present some cards as well.
You know, Pauletta, can we get these hung up like here in the room
Yes,
here?
yes.
Absolutely.
Our kindergarten students decided to spell out thanks with their bodies, and so these are thank you for all that you do for our students.
Ah,
Okay, everybody gets one.
Yeah, everybody's gonna get one.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that is too cute.
Very nice. That
Thank
is-
you.
oh,
We
wow.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Just so we don't have to get on the floor and spell out you're welcome. These are great, thank you very much.
And last weekend, bitter rivals, Colerain Middle School and White Oak Middle School, girls and boys basketball teams played each other at Colerain High School last Saturday. And they did recognize our board members at halftime. The White Oak cheerleaders did give a small presentation, brief speeches, and presented Mrs. Jetzel with that speech. And so we want to thank our White Oak and Colerain Middle School girls basketball team and cheerleaders.
I just wanted to add to that, it was very, very nice. Each one of the girls, it was a nice lengthy little speech that they talked about, specifically thanking us for things like the opportunity of certain classes and so on and so forth. And it was really nice to hear from the kids directly, and got an opportunity to talk to them afterwards and ask them which classes they like, which ones, they'd like to see more of and stuff. So that it was a very, very nice day.
And then last but not least, Colerain Middle School students have put a video of thanks together and thoughts on what they believe you do as a school board. And so if you'll look up here. I believe it's their top 10.
Give our school money. Tell us if there's snow there 2 hours away. Enforce the rules. Provide the buses for us. Supply education and teachers. Keep everything from becoming chaos. Provide heat and air conditioning.
Provide technology and computers.
Pass BYOD.
Number 1, provide windows and clocks and floors and chairs and electricity and toilets and walls.
Thank you.
From the Colerain Middle School.
And then I think Mr. Bowling wanted to say a word or two.
Yes, we would just like to thank you for this year, this past school year, and allowing us to do what we need to do as administrative folks in central office, so that it carries on down to our principals, some of which we have sitting in the office, to our teachers in the classroom every day who are doing their best to get our kids to move forward, and our parents who support their kids as they come to school. So a big thank you from us also.
And then if I could just take a minute or two and have you come out front with our little preschoolers and bring a card or two with you, and I'd like to take a photo.
And again, thank you to Emily Stepanek and Mrs. Rowe. Thank you very much for the cards. Your time is greatly appreciated. The other thing that Pauletta did not mention before she went out is there will be books with the board members' names on them that will be placed in each of the school's libraries. So this is another way to show their support of when they were on the school board, and it will be remembered in our schools and the school library.
I just, again, I mean, I think this is the first time ever that we've had this much recognition, and I was overwhelmed just at the middle school meet at the basketball games, but to have the kids here tonight, that was awesome. And we also, the administrators, had dinner for us beforehand too. So, so again, we want to thank everyone. Okay, at this time, guess we got to work. We'll move into our legislative update with Michael.
Oh, thank you. Well, little has changed in the last 2 weeks in the legislature. Representative Brenner continues as the House Education Committee chairman, and Senator Lehner is widely expected to retain the chairmanship of the State Board of the Senate Education Committee. The Ohio Department of Education released a draft of the summary of its ESSA mandated state plan. The full draft will be released on February 2nd. On January 31st, the governor will submit his proposed state budget for the upcoming biennium to the General Assembly. One of the things that's in his proposal would be, we're going to need to build something here, would be to require all local boards of education to add 3 business leaders as non-voting ex officio board members. I am sure that will get a lot of attention in the House and Senate, and so we'll see how that goes. That's about the only like policy-related item that I've seen be made public so far. So, other than that, I guess we will see what happens on the 31st. Obviously, I'll have a lot more on it at the next meeting.
So, Michael, that was, the state wants them to have 3 non-voting members. Just give you a little, my brother was a teacher in Alaska, and he sits on when they have the school board up there, he represents the base commander, because there's an Army base there in our town. And the base commander has a non-voting, and they have a student on their Board of Education that gets to vote, but it's, it's it doesn't count.
Non-binding.
Yeah. So I know that's something that they've done for years up there.
The University Boards of Trustees in Ohio have 2 non-voting student members.
Okay.
So, since UC and Ohio State and some of those.
That's been around a long
Yeah.
time. I know the first NSBA conference I attended, one of the seminars I went to was on that, and I came back pretty pumped, wanted to have a student up here, and nothing came of it, but I still don't think it's a bad idea. So I do think we do a great job with our superintendent, has his roundtable with the students, so that's good too. Okay. We do not have a Butler Tech update, so we will move right into Eric Dunn from Pleasant Run Elementary and the principal's report.
With Eric tonight is also Andrea Childress, assistant principal.
Thank you. Before I get started, I just want to say I haven't spoken to the board since we started planning for the buildings last year, and I just want to thank you for everything that we've done as far as the groundwork for the new buildings. I feel like you've done an excellent job involving the community, involving teacher input, involving administrative input, and from all the stakeholders that I've heard from, they're all very appreciative of the way this has been rolled out, and they all feel like they've had a stake in it, they're all bought into it, so I really commend you on the process that you used for the new buildings. That's not what I came to talk about tonight, though. We are going to talk a little bit about Children's Home. When Andrea and I decided what we were going to talk about, we figured you probably hear about data on a bi-weekly, if not a monthly basis, so we thought we'd throw data out of the window for a minute and talk about Children's Home, because I don't know how much you've heard about it. But Heidi Stickney did a really good job last year getting Children's Home on board with the district. I've been, and Jenny can attest to this, I've been a strong proponent of getting some sort of counseling services in our elementary for the last couple years, just because of the needs that we've seen at Pleasant Run Elementary. 2 years ago, I think it was, we had, within a calendar year, we had 8 different students that lost a family member, and it was all in a very tragic, bizarre circumstances. It wasn't anything that is a typical death. So we had all these kids walking our halls that were looking for help that Andrea and I are not certified to give them, or anybody else in the building, really. So we really saw a need for counseling. So Heidi, even though we weren't able to get full-time Northwest local counselors, she was able to contract Children's Home to come service our students. So this is the first year that we've piloted the program. It's gone phenomenally well. We have a girl, her name is Sarah Pickett from Children's Home. She comes in every Thursday and Friday all day long, and what she does is she meets with students on a one-to-one basis for about an hour at a time. These are students who have been referred from everything from a death in the family to abuse in the past to having test anxiety. So it really runs the gamut of what we consider minor up to very major. Sarah's very good about building those relationships with students, building that trust, and the students that typically don't open up to teachers or necessarily open up to the principals do a really good job of opening up to her within that hour a week. And again, a lot of that's because it is one-on-one and very relational based. And we've seen a lot of really good improvements with our students, their social well-being, their academics, their behaviors, and we attribute a lot of that to the Children's Home program. So again, the availability of the counselors depends on how many people you've referred. I think as of about a week ago, we still were leading the district in referrals. Number of kids, we even have more than the high schools. So again, she's able to be there 2 days a week. We're hoping to continue our referrals to maybe get her even 3 or 4 days a week. We feel like the more we can get her in the building, the more she's going to build trust and build those relationships with the students. Children's Home has been phenomenal to work with. They do meet with us on a monthly basis. They sit down with me and Andrea. It's Sarah, a couple of her supervisors, Lindsay Gibson, who's our district coordinator. We all sit in the same room for an hour, go through the students. They give us updates on how the students are progressing. We give them kind of our perspective of what we're seeing, what the teachers are seeing. So we feel like that relationship between us and Children's Home is really strong, which only benefits the kids, which is the goal in the end. Had a huge parent support. We're to the point now where we're getting cold calls from parents that said, hey, we just heard that you have this new program. We want to get our son or daughter involved. This is what we're seeing at home. Some of these behaviors that we're hearing from the parents we're not seeing at school at all. So some of the students that are really having struggles at home or nobody that we would even think of in the classroom is struggling outside of school because they're able to keep it together for 7 hours a day in front of us but they're going home and we're hearing about all this, kind of bizarre stuff that's going on in some cases. Again, this has just been we're to the point now where the community is reaching out to us and trying to get their students referred, which is awesome. So I'm going to turn over to Andrea. She's done a great job kind of running the referrals. She's kind of the queen of Children's Home in the building, and she's done an awesome job, so I'm going to let her speak real quick.
There was a 2-week period where I actually felt like, hey, they should be paying me at Children's Home. I spent a lot of my time calling parents and with the referral process. So how this worked for us, over the summer we were introduced to the Children's Home Partnership, and initially we were asked to kind of look at our list of kids from last year and just brainstorm a list of kids we thought would benefit. And we identified initially 5 students, and of those we contacted families and 2 or 3 were on board at first. So that's kind of where we started in August. Sarah came to the back to school open house. She set up a table and a lot of parents walked up, they were interested, and then they see Children's Home and they see therapy and they kind of walked away. And so from that, not a whole lot of interest. But we then brought staff in. We gave them an update on what this whole program was. We sent home a parent interest form with Sarah's information on it, and on that she was able to include, the range of services she could provide, anywhere from, like Eric said, help with ADHD and managing that, and all the way up to working with kids that are going through grief and things like that. And once we brought teachers on board and once we sent that home, that's when we started to hear from people. We had a lot of parents then when it was sent home and they were able to just send it anonymously back in. They started to reach out and ask for some help. So we currently have 18 active students with a school of 500, and we have another 8 that are pending. And then there are another, probably 5 to 6 kids that, we're trying to get a hold of parents that we feel like would really benefit from this. So, some of the things that have been barriers are, that it's pretty easy if a student is Medicaid eligible to get them services. It's a little bit more challenging with kids that are private insurance because they only accept certain insurance, and some kiddos, their parents have high deductibles and things like that. But Melissa, who is one of the supervisors, has really gone above and beyond to try to see what we can work out for some of these families. So, and then again, just, I've had parents that have been interested, we reach out, and then we stop hearing from them and they stop answering calls. So those are some of the barriers, but the benefits far outweigh any obstacles that we have seen so far. We had a student who started at the beginning of the year. I thought, wow, she's going to be a tough cookie. She was new to us, and she was immediately hooked up with Children's Home, and we never see her in the office at this point. She's found, a comfort in the building, and I attribute a lot of that to having someone that she can go to. So that's all I had.
Are there any questions? Again, this is just a service you may not even know what's going on or may not know a lot about it, but
I didn't, but it's obviously been needed for a long time, so I'm glad to hear that you kept working at it to figure out the best way to reach everyone.
I have a daughter who teaches in Florida, and she has a large children's home in front of their school, and they receive all those students into their school every year. And obviously, she gets a lot of new students, and her job is to evaluate whether students can be in a regular classroom if they need to go to special ed. And she does a lot of the same things that you were just talking about. And turning the corner is a big deal if you can get them the right help.
right, definitely.
These services that he's talked about tonight are what we're considering wraparound services. Not only are we trying to move out into the schools, because it is a big issue with not having counselors in elementary schools, but we also are contracting with Camelot, which is housed in Houston. Some of the holdups there is it's a half-day plan, so that transition from a regular school day to a half-day of 1-on-2 and 1-on-3 is difficult to go back and forth. But with wraparound services, obviously we want to educate every child, but with every child you need to meet their social and emotional needs also, and this is a big part of that. We're also contracting with Warren County, or working on that, to bring in services so that not only we can work with special ed students, but we want to be proactive and get with those kids who might in a couple years identify. So we're trying to be proactive and get kids before they get to this point. But the whole key to all of this is the partnership with the parents. And it's very difficult for a parent. Heck, it was difficult. My kid's a freshman in college, and I had to get him in counseling services his freshman year for anxiety and some other things. Well, think about a little kindergartner or 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old and a mom or dad who, we do see that children, so we see services. No, that's not us. But it's very helpful. It's very valuable. And the goal is not to punish a kid or bring them out and humiliate them. It is to put things in place that can help them develop to their true ability. That's the key. You got to get past the social and emotional piece before you can get to the education piece. So I think we've done a very good job wrapping services around this year. It is important to us. We have hired 2 social workers who can work in the district. One's been housed at Northwest Passage and the other is here in AO, and we want to expand their roles as we move further. Daryl's got some updated numbers. I don't know if you want to go over.
Eric and Andrew did a nice job of explaining that impact at the building level, but just from the district perspective, 2 things. Both the program I talked about and the one Todd mentioned with Camelot are not costing the district anything. It's a partnership that we have with the Children's Home and with Camelot. But district-wide, we have over 100 active cases right now with the Children's Home. We started with the Children's Home with 4 therapists in the district. We've moved to 5, and they're looking to add a 6th. They're going to add a case manager for the district so that we have someone that can help manage all of that, as well as looking at the possibility of by next year because of so many of these appointments and students involve medications, providing a doctor who will come out to the district several times a month so that families don't have to go down to the children's home or somewhere else to get their medicine updated and refilled. They can actually get those appointments with a doctor right here within the district. So we're really reaching out and trying, like Todd said, to wrap around those services so that we can support our kids in every way possible.
I think it's so important to be able to identify and to be able to help at the younger level, and instead of waiting until, they've battled with issues for years. So this is an awesome program.
We were also asked to bring PTA president to give you a quick update on PRE PTA. To keep you on your toes, we have two presidents. We chose the one who is from Scotland with the thickest accent you've ever heard. So I'm introducing Donna Metz, and Donna again is a co-president, does a fantastic job with our PTA at PRE.
Thanks, Nate. So this is my first year at PRE, first year involved with PTA in the school, and we work in conjunction with the teachers and the families and children, and encourage everybody to get involved as much as we can. We offer support for school parties and celebrations. At the school they offer the 5th grade farewell, the New Year dance, end of year picnics, things like that. And we also assist with fundraising. And they have a plant sale in the Santa shop that you guys had this Christmas. It's awesome. Kids love it, families love coming to it. Lots of different fundraisers over the year actually. And we feed you guys. We're kind of nice about taking care of the staff as well. I hope we make their jobs a little bit easier in any support that they need really. So we have a small group. Unfortunately, it's quite small this year. We do hope to recruit, and we do spread the word and sort of encourage wherever we go. So we're hoping to add some more members. But as of yet, we have Holly, who's in charge, and sent me, and I hope you can understand what I'm saying, because I hate to speak publicly, because I know you're all looking very puzzled at me.
I'm fired up. I'm going to go home and watch Game of Thrones. So I'm ready.
Or Braveheart.
Oh, Braveheart, even better.
My grandmother was born in Scotland, so...
Do you remember where?
Everything you're saying.
Do you remember where?
Edinburgh.
Oh, it's not too far. It's Edinburgh. You need more bra there. But if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. But, again, our role is very much a supportive one, I would say. And I think you all know, what PTA involves. And you all need to come to a meeting if you haven't. Thank you.
Thank you.
This was the board's ideal to bring the PTA up because they appreciate all you do. They sign off and see the money you guys fundraise. So this was their ideal to bring and show you our appreciation for you also. So we really appreciate what you do.
When is your next meet? When are your meetings?
Once a month.
Okay.
We meet once a month. It's the first Tuesday. There's not really much time. So we tend to just handle things as best we can to what we can. And it means everyone working a lot harder than we think.
Right.
But honestly, there's not a lot involved as far as we're not asking for money, we're not asking for all of your time, we're asking for what you can give. So if you only have 2 hours a month, that's fine. Come to a meeting and then perhaps come to a school party and help a teacher. Or, help with fundraising once. There's enough of us within the district to do it a little bit each,
I actually have my 9 of my dearest friends are from, we started out, met each other at Pleasant Run Elementary in the PTA. One of their daughters is still a teacher there on the staff. I'll see if I can get us all to attend a meeting and see if we can help you.
I went for something totally different, walked up and Holly said, would you like to help? I said, oh, absolutely. I'm thinking, well, she maybe wants me to bring some cookies or something. And she's like, no, you need to come and just do it all and come with me to everything. And she's been amazing. So when she leaves next year, if I'm still living where I am, I would like to take over, so we'll see.
Well, I love listening to your accent. Thank you for sharing. Okay, at this time, we'll move into reports from employee organizations. Do we have a report from certificated and licensed?
So as we get ready for my presentation, I would be remiss without congratulating and thanking the board, since this is school board month. You know, the Teachers Association and the school board has an important relationship as well with the administration to make sure we do everything we can to provide the best education we can for our students. And so that relationship is important to us and hopefully to you as well. So we congratulate you and thank you for the work that you do for our board, or for our school district, sorry. So I was here back in October, if you may remember, and I presented a couple awards to two of our teachers. And this is something that we want to do on a quarterly basis. This is our community engagement program that we're doing, and we created the Distinguished Educator Award in order to highlight what our teachers are doing in the classroom or even outside the classroom. And so tonight I am going to present two awards again, and the two awards are going to go to Meryl Sherman from Colerain Elementary and Leslie Getz from Pleasant Run Elementary. Just so happen to have Eric and company here as well, and I do have my association reps from the two buildings, and Colin, the principal for Colerain Elementary, and family. We thank everybody for being here. So let's go ahead and get started with presenting our first award. And the first one person I'll talk about is Meryl. So as I said, she is from Colerain Elementary. She was nominated by her colleague, Lynn Overberg, who's sitting out there, who, when Lynn filled it out, she very proudly put at the bottom, you know, nominated by Lynn Overberg. So she wanted to make sure that I knew who made that nomination. And so here's what Lynn said about you. And I'm going to have to take a big breath because she had a lot to say. So it says, Meryl teaches first grade at Colerain Elementary. She has also taught kindergarten at Struble Elementary. During her time at Northwest Local School District, Meryl has gone above and beyond for her students, as well as the students of the school in general. She has readily agreed to tutor numerous students after school over the summer and for a third grade guarantee. At her own initiative, Meryl was mentoring at-risk students long before the district had a mentoring program. She reaches out every year to 3 or 4 students whom she checks in with on a regular basis, encourages them after a rough day, and lifts them up with her smile and praise after a good day. She is never too busy to offer a smile or a hug to any student, whether they are in her class or not. She offers her time in her room as an oasis for any student who just needs to be accepted as they are, no matter their needs or their faults. On her own time, Meryl has also reached out to many troubled parents and guardians and guided them through a rough patch with their child. Despite the fact Meryl has 2 teenage children of her own, a grown daughter living outside of her home, a husband and a home to care for, and I think most of them are here tonight, and then some. Meryl takes the time to reach out to all students and give them her time and attention. Meryl has no idea what her contractual day is because she always adds about 2 to 3 hours of her own time, plus weekends, onto her already busy life. Meryl is an exceptional teacher and a giving person, and that is why Lynn nominated her for this award. So congratulations to Meryl Sherman. And I should have said before, what we are doing as an association is we are giving a lovely certificate suitable for framing, for this award, but we are giving the teachers a $50 gift card and asking them to use this money to support their students in or out of the classroom for whatever the needs are. She's already spent the money in her head, I can tell. So this is for you. And Meryl would like to say a couple of things.
Well, if you gave me the option to say something, and I said, well, I might as well take that option because I might not get it again. Hello. Wanted to let you know I'm a product of the Northwest Local School District. I graduated from Colerain High School. I was also a Title I aide and a teacher's aide over at Struble. I also did my student teaching at Montford Heights Elementary. Teaching is my passion. I've taught close to, and I started adding this up, about 700 students, which was kind of hard to believe. Once students become a part of Learning Island, they are like my own, because the whole theme of my classroom is Learning Island, because my family is from Trinidad and Tobago, so it is an oasis, as she mentioned. My job is to help students succeed and meet their educational goals. Once they enter into my room, they are like my own kids. I have 3 kids, and people say, well, how are your kids doing? And I'm like, which ones? Because I take them in and care for them and want them to succeed, just like my own 3 children that are here this evening. I'm reading so I don't lose my place. Succeed and meet their educational goals. Good. I want them to love learning in first grade. And sometimes it's not easy with 22 different personalities. That's how many I have about right now. But I still do my best to strive to make sure that they meet their goals and whatever their needs may be. And as you know, they're not all the same. And that old saying is, it takes a village to raise a child. I would say it takes a village to teach a child. And I haven't done this alone. Within the different buildings that I have been in and the different teams that have worked with me, and especially my friend Mrs. Overberg, who recommended me for this nomination, I can't do it without them. It's not just me. So, to my family, friends, and colleagues who have supported me, from saving recycled containers, letting me talk to them about how I want to change something in my room, or coming to help me set up my room, or volunteering in my room, especially to my kids who stayed late and sometimes ate dinner at school because I just wanted to get something done. I appreciate that, and I thank the NEA for this award, and I will continue to work hard and make Northwest Local School District proud.
So our second recipient is Leslie Getz from Pleasant Run Elementary. Leslie is an art educator. She started her career at Corning High School and was transferred to Pleasant Run Elementary and has adjusted well to the change. It was a little bit of a culture shock for her, I think, at first, but she's done really well there. Samantha Young and Terry Williams, our association reps at Pleasant Run Elementary, nominated her. Samantha's here tonight. And so here's what they said about you. Leslie has went above and beyond her duties as a teacher. She raised money for field trips and extracurricular activities. Leslie facilitates an art club before school. She is always going an extra mile to help her colleagues with SLOs or just a listening ear. Leslie is a great asset to Northwest Local School District. On a personal note, I've had the privilege to attend 2 separate showings of Leslie's personal artwork. She does, correct me if I'm wrong, mixed media, is that what it's called? So she can describe the work that she does, but it's very unique, it's intriguing. Sometimes you have to tilt your head to look at it a little bit and try to get the right angle. But you can just really see what a creative mind she has in her artwork. And it's really wonderful that she's taken that love of art and that creation, that creativity that she has, and sharing it with her students at Pleasant Run Elementary, and especially with this art club. So I think the $50 may go a long way to help with buying some supplies for the club. And so we congratulate Leslie Getz.
I was actually thinking it could probably buy a lot of donuts for our club. It meets in the morning. I'm really only good at talking to little people, so I actually didn't plan on saying anything this evening. But then Meryl said she was going to talk, so I was like, oh my gosh. So now I wish I'd written something, because I could bring our PTA president back up here to read it for you, because she's so much better speaker than I am. You know, I always tell my kids that if you can find the thing that you're most passionate about in life, and you can figure out how to make it your job, then you'll never work a day in your life. And I think that That is kind of what art teaching is for me, and I think that I have been lucky to be in the building with Eric and Andrea. They are such great leaders, and they really encourage us to be ourselves in the building and make the building what we want it to be, maybe a little bit more than we should sometimes. But Meryl brought up that it does take a village, and I feel like at PRE, I know a lot of schools say that they really are a family, but I really feel like we are there, and we are more than a family, but we are a village. And I don't think anybody feels like any particular kid belongs just to them. I feel like we, of course I teach all of them, but I feel like we feel that they're all ours, and everyone is always so supportive, and they're so supportive, and anytime that any one of us is having, problems with a kid, we all kind of chip in to help. So I think it's, because of the leadership that we have in our building that encourages us to make it our own, which is why we have all the extra stuff that we do have. So I want to thank the association, who I've been a proud member of for the last 17 years that I've taught in the district, and to Sam and Terry for nominating me. So thank you very much.
So I'll be back in a couple months for our next two presentations. And in the 6 years that I've been the president of our Teachers Association, this has by far been a highlight for me, these last two presentations that I've done. So thank you for listening, and thank you to our wonderful teachers that work so hard for our students. Thanks everybody for coming.
Kevin, just real quick, I just want to thank you for presenting this. This gives us an opportunity to see and hear all the wonderful things our staff does. So I want to congratulate both of you. I look forward to the next time you're here to hear some more great stories. And it's great to have everybody here supporting. You can tell how much support you have, both in the classroom and at home. So thank all of you for being here. At this time, we'll move into reports from classified employees. Do we have any reports from school-related organizations? I have received requests from two community members. The first one is Debbie Howard, a resident, to discuss the Laura Linda Bridge. Debbie, if you want to come up front here.
Been here before and discussed this, but we still don't have any answers. We were told several months ago that this is coming down. Northwest Schools does no longer need it. They do not want to maintain it. So the latest I'm hearing now is that it may not be coming down. Nobody seems to know who's going to be in charge of it, what's going to happen. So we need to know an answer. We started working on this last February. So we're not getting any information. That's just, the neighbors are asking me what's going on. I don't know. So
I can address some of this, and then Chris McKee can take over. I don't know why I'm echoing. We did do research on it. We have spent taxpayer dollars because of the request to hire an attorney to look into it. We do not want to tear down the bridge because we do not want the property. So we are going to the four owners that sit around the bridge, and we are going to sell or turn over the land to them. We don't even sell it. It becomes their property. It was only given to the district in the beginning as a kind act of the builders for the kids when that school was full with 6 elementary kids to walk across. No longer used. So the district no longer wants the property. So our lawyer did the research with Hamilton County, and anybody who's called Chris, he'd be glad to share with you. And we have gone and approached the owners and told them that the land is theirs. And Chris, you can go from the responses of there, because the lady behind you is shaking her head. She knows nothing about it.
Yeah, she's been to every meeting, and she lives right next to it. Yeah.
So yes, that's true. Originally, the property gets transferred to two of the landowners. Back when the sidewalk or the bridge was built, the other two properties didn't exist. So what we've done is we've had our attorney contact the two landowners. One wanted nothing to do with the property. The other at first did want something to do with the property. However, she was under bridge down first and then transfer the property. Finding out that we were not going to tear down the bridge, she also does not want the property. So the attorney is contacting the 4 landowners that they do not want the property, and they have no problem with the other 2 landowners across the creek from having the property. They too will be asked. If no one wants the property, then we'll be in contact with Corrigan Township and Hamilton County to see what the next steps are for us to get rid of the property.
It's been a very lengthy process because as our attorney found out, you have to go through the channels of who actually owns the property the bridge is on.
Well, there's a 10-foot easement that goes over that property. And if you look on the auditor's website, it pulls it right up. You can see it. So we printed that out. And I was told by Chris a while back that after this is all taken down, that property is going to be given to whatever the 10-foot there is after the sidewalk comes out and the bridge comes out, then it's just going to be a creek. So basically, we don't need, people aren't going to hopefully come across there anymore and do bad damage into our neighborhood.
Well, and that's been deceiving also because we had another lady show up at a board meeting saying there was nothing wrong with the bridge whatsoever. Corrigan Township Police, we did check with them. They said that they do not have any reported cases of issues that they've had to deal with. So we're here, I'm just telling you what we've heard.
They told me they've been there dozens and dozens and dozens of times. I've been there 40 years. I can tell you, there's been
And Chris, you can go by what they've told you. We're put between a rock and a hard place, so we don't want to spend taxpayer money.
The reason they don't have reports is because there is no address at that bridge. There has to be a specific address to have reports. If you talk to police, like I went to a meeting last Monday with them, every one of them that's been there for years said, oh my God, it needs to come down. I've been there dozens.
Chris, do you know who you talked to then?
Well, I talked to the police chief, and he denied that there were any problems. Now, we're meeting with the township tomorrow, and like I told you on the phone, that we'll be talking to Dan Malloy again and find out if there's any issues. But, as I see it now, it's a policing issue, it's not a property issue. If someone ran across your front sidewalk, that doesn't mean that we're going to tear that sidewalk out, correct? So it's the same thing with this bridge. There's other community members that call and say that they use that bridge to get over to Colerain Avenue.
Right, but they don't live by it and they don't have to put up with all the bad stuff that happens. I mean, people underneath there, drug overdoses, drug deals. I mean, it's just constant. House break-ins, they go right back across the bridge. I mean, and there's police reports there. I've had a meeting too with Dan Malloy, so he knows all the stuff. He was a bicycle policeman coming down there for years. He's told me all the stuff he's had to deal with down there. So I said, okay, we just need an answer. So we've been.
And we do also. I'm glad this is televised because when I see Dan Malloy tomorrow morning, he needs to have an answer for me.
Okay.
Because we're being told one thing, you're being told another.
Right.
They need to get on the same page will be my exact words
to him. As soon
to
as I can, because he's known that I've been doing this since last February up at the trustee meetings, and that's when we found out that he said, you've got to go to the Northwest School Board, they're in charge of this, blah, blah, blah. So that's what we did. So we've just been, and when we hear something and we think it's the truth and it's going to happen, then it all changes again, you know what I mean? So it just kind of keeps rolling and rolling. You never get a specific answer about what's going on.
Well, part of it might be our attorney. Maybe it's time to put a different attorney on it because we're not getting this done fast enough. So either Chris will take care of it with our attorney or I will.
Okay. All right, I just appreciate it. We get some answer at some point. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it could just be some issue of semantics and communication involving, the fact that there is no address for the bridge. So I don't think crime actually happens on the bridge. I think it's just an accessible thing for the criminals. Is that
right?
And obviously our attorney doesn't sense the sense of urgency that we have, so he will after I get done tomorrow.
Okay, our next request is Jim Acton, talking about Colerain High School Student Senate.
When Debbie was talking about that, I'd just like to interject something too. With no address for that part of land, 20-foot walkway through there, there's no police reports. I've been told that many times by the old chief and the new chief. So just let you know, ask Dan what the story is.
That's who we asked last time, unfortunately.
So tell Dan I don't know how to say that. I'm here tonight to speak about the Corrine Township, or Corrine High School Student Senate. I am also a volunteer at the Cincinnati Ronald McDonald House. These students got up on January the 14th, sometime in the morning. I arrived there at 8 o'clock, and these kids, they're cooking breakfast already. How many kids get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and come cook breakfast? For strangers, particularly. They did a great job, served 155 families that day, adults and kids, both. You never hear about Corrine Township unless it's the football team. That's all you ever hear. And I was hoping that Jenny would be here tonight, but she's not here, but she's going to be at the trustee meeting in February. I am going to speak about these kids then and introduce every one of them.
Good for you.
Angie Long will be there, and Miss Ritchie, her assistant, will be there. And I've asked the Northwest Press to be there to take pictures and recognize some of these kids. And there was one particular girl up at the house, I was telling them what I was going to do. Oh, I'm going to be in the Northwest Press. Oh, I'm going to be in the Northwest Press. But she was very happy about it. But they're going to be back again, too, twice this year, on March the 19th. Excuse me, yeah, March the 19th, April 22nd. And I hope Miss Long can be there. She was ill yet last time, but I had the chef tell me, professional chef also, says, I love to have these kids every day. I've never seen the dining area so clean. Never seen the dishes and the pans and all this so clean. And they followed the instructions just like they were pros there. And it was really great to have them there. But I'd like to just read you some comments. I got flyers for each one of you. But these are some of the parents that we deal with daily. That's one out to each one of them. I don't know how many of you know anything about the Taste of Hope, which is all about, or if you know anything about the Ronald McDonald House, as far as that goes. I've been a volunteer there for a year, and I'll tell you, I've met some people that are just unbelievable. I don't know how they bear what they're going through. There's one couple, young couple from Ashland, Kentucky, that I've got kind of close to because that's the area where I grew up with my grandparents. They have a daughter that's been there for 16 months. She's now 3 years old. And she's doing well now. They're teaching the parents how to change the trach tube and all the other tubes that poor child has to have it done. We volunteers, myself, two other gentlemen that are generally there every morning, or in the mornings, I should say. They gave us a picture of Olivia in her Halloween costume. I got a booth on my wall. But as you can see here on the paper that you got, there's just a few comments that I would like to read so the public and the people sitting out here can see. But this is, one is from Kelsey's mom. I cried when I sat down to eat. It felt like Sunday dinner at my mom's. It was so comforting and special that everyone cared enough to make dinner for me. I can never say thank you enough. Gentleman from Fifth Third Bank, which is on the back side with a little girl smiling, or front side, I guess, that's Chef Greg and his group up there in the upper corner. The Taste of Hope strengthens the bond we share. We all felt that we were making a difference together. We come to the house as colleagues, but we left as a working family and as lifelong friends. These kids will never forget the experience that they've had there. This is the first year for this particular group, sure they'll go away, but when they get done serving, I'll go around and talk to these different families. High five the kids, low five the kids, you know, play games and all that with them. And generally they get out of there somewhere between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. But I'm very proud of them, and I wished Corrine High School Student Senate and more Corrine information was out about the kids, what they do, the good stuff, not the bad stuff. So they went 44 to nothing. What about what's this kid done, you know, for the school today? So on the 14th of February, I hope some of you can attend, but there will be another presentation before the trustees and the residents of Corrine Township. And there's supposed to be a recognition plaque or some type being given to them. So Chris, if you can make it on, the rest of your board members would greatly appreciate it if you show up just for support of these kids, because they probably never see them. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If you have any questions about the house, got some information here if you'd like to question me about it.
If you go back to what you said with our kids and what they do, it's amazing what they do. And unfortunately, a lot of athletics do get precedent over some of the accolades of what our students do, not in terms of academics, but just in time that they volunteer. Not only have the Colerain High School kids done stuff like this, the Northwest High School Senate also went to the Aloha Center and has worked with the Alzheimer patients on a regular basis. So our kids, what they do above and beyond their academics and sports is amazing. And it's great to have community members bring that up and recognize them.
As I told Jenny, I said, you never see anything in there about the Corrine kids, what they do. You see Macaulay, Roger Bacon, nurseries, the X, and all these. This is something that I want to push for the kids.
It's not that Paulette isn't telling her constantly. We agree.
Thank you.
All right, superintendent consent items. The first one is a fiscal item. Financial reports of the treasurer, December 2016. In accordance with section 3313.29 of the revised code of the state of Ohio, record needs to be made that the treasurer submitted a financial statement of receipts, expenditures, balance, and investments in the regular funds of the Board of Education for the period of the fiscal year 2017. Treasurer and superintendent recommend the Board of Education approve the financial reports as listed.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded on the financial reports. Are there any questions? Okay, Chris, call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0.
The next item is the certificated licensed personnel, retirements, and resignations. The superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the certificated licensed personnel retirements and resignations as listed.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded on the certificated licensed personnel retirements and resignations. Are there any questions? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is the classified personnel, retirement, and resignations. The superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the classified retirements and resignations as listed.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded for the classified retirements and resignations. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
The next item is a fiscal item, resolution declaring intent to proceed with election on the question of renewal of an emergency tax levy. The board desires to proceed with the submission of the renewal, all of the existing emergency tax levy in order to avoid an operating deficit to raise $7,344,295 for each year that said levy is in effect for a period of 10 years, the emergency levy to the electors of the school district on May 2nd, 2017. Superintendent and treasurer recommend the Board of Education approve the resolution declaring intent to proceed with the election on the question of renewal of an emergency tax levy as listed.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? I do know, Amy, that was good news that you sent us, that the actual figure is a little bit lower per $100,000 home.
Yes, the county auditor certified it about $6 lower per $100,000 home based on the new valuation.
That'd be great. Anyone else? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is an approval of a new fund. It is a Scholastic Reading Club for $8,000. The treasurer and superintendent recommend the Board of Education approve the new funds as listed.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the new fund for Scholastic Reading Club. Are there any other questions? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is vendor contracts. In compliance with ORC 3313.33, attached is a list of vendor contracts requiring board authorization. Superintendent and treasurer recommend the Board of Education authorize the vendor contracts as listed.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded on the vendors' contracts. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is then and now certificates over $3,000. Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.41 states in part that no subdivision shall make any contract or give any order involving the expenditure of money unless there is an attached thereto a certificate by the treasurer. Then and now certificates by the treasurer issued over $3,000 must be authorized by the Board of Education. Superintendent and treasurer recommend the Board of Education authorize the payments over $3,000 requiring a then and now certificate as listed.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions on the then and now certificates? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is a general business item. Is a resolution by the school district board acknowledging the commission's design phase review comments. Things are going very well in that Pete has done an excellent job and SHP of working with OFCC to make sure that everything we put into our new buildings is aligning with what meets OFCC regulations. Chris and Pete and Jerry meet weekly, if not more, on this. So this resolution by the Board of Education acknowledges the design phase review comments made by the Commission, OFCC, and agrees to make the required revisions per the attached documents. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the resolution acknowledging the Commission's design phase review comments and agree to make the required revisions, if any, per the attached documents.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? This 60-degree weather's just teasing us wanting to get started soon, but I don't think it's going to last.
It's been a busy week.
Okay, Chris, call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is a certificated licensed personnel item. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the certificated licensed personnel items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on the certificated and licensed personnel items? Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
The next item is a classified personnel item. The superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the classified personnel items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded on the classified personnel items. Any questions or comments? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is a curriculum and instruction item. It is an out-of-state field trip request. The Colerain High School Winter Guard is requesting permission to take 25 students to Campbell County, Kentucky to participate in a competition on February 4th, 2017. No school will be missed by the students. The superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the out-of-state field trip as listed.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded on the out-of-state field trip request. Are there any comments? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is a student services item. It's an amended athletic handbook's pay to participate policy. To engage consistency, 3 performing groups that were exempt from pay to participate were added to this list of groups to pay to participate. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the pay to participate items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions on the pay to participate policy that's been amended?
Todd, why are we adding these 3 groups to the pay to play?
Well, in order for them to have someone to be in charge of them, concert choir, concert band, and middle school performing and drama groups, a pay-to-play should be added because of what they receive if you look at what everybody else is using pay-to-play to. Daryl, you want to?
Because they're doing public performances, competing in competitions where they have entry fees, it meets the requirements for all the other groups. We haven't in the past had some of the middle school performing groups that have competed in competitions, so because they're moving to that level of competition, we're adding them.
And pay-to-play is at $100, and they are topped out at $200 for family.
And we reduced the overall pay to pay.
Yes, you did reduce it last
by
year.
quite a bit last year.
Yes.
Did we see any increase after we reduced that? in
Participation.
Increase in participation.
When it went from 200 to 100?
No. I don't think there's been any difference, and I can tell you that very few students this year requested assistance for their pay for it. I think people are understanding now that it is $100, another $100 for the second activity, and then you're capped out. And so in the springtime, pretty much, those kids that are involved in fall and winter are getting that for free. So
Track, baseball, softball.
our athletic numbers are significant, our middle school drama numbers are significant. We've not seen any kind of drop off or any major influx either.
Okay, any other questions?
We've also added it to the account so they can pay it electronically instead of having to go through their coach now. So it's all easier and electronic.
That's nice. Good. Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
The next item is is a student service item also. It is the 2017-2018 school calendar resolution. The proposed 2/17-2018 school calendar reduces the student instructional hours by 1 day to accommodate additional professional development for staff. The attached resolution acknowledges the reduction and confirms the district's compliance with the Ohio Department of Education's instructional hour requirement. Please remember, as a reminder to the audience and to the school board, who is already aware, that the school day is not based on a full day, it is hours, and is 5.5 hours. If you go from what is required by the state and what we currently do, we're anywhere from 20 to 23 days above and beyond what is required. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the school calendar resolution as listed.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions on the calendar resolution? Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
And the last student services item is the 17-18 school calendar. It was provided for you as information at our last board meeting. This is the final draft of the 2017-2018 school calendar. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the school calendar as listed.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded on the 2017-18 school calendar. Any questions or comments? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
All right, for my update, and I might be stealing Pam's thunder, I hope not, just a reminder that the Northwest Monte Carlo is Saturday night from 8 to 12 at St. John Newman. This is a huge fundraiser for Northwest High School, so if you have time to attend, it would be greatly appreciated. We will also be starting negotiations, so I will be seeking a board member or two to be present at every negotiation session that we have here at central office. We can maneuver the days to different days. I know some of you better days off than others if you have an interest, or if one or two of you just want to attend every meeting. The format would be our representatives would meet with union representatives and then go back and talk about what has been presented and what can be negotiated. So if okay with you, I will contact you to see who has an interest. We can try to revolve the days around your days that you're free. We haven't set the schedule yet, but we did talk to them today about getting the schedule pretty quick, so we could get moving.
You're looking at how soon to get started, do you think? The first meeting?
They're going to spend next 3 weeks talking to building leadership teams and seeing what they want to talk about in terms of the contract negotiations. So
We won't be meeting until April.
April,
Okay.
May.
Okay.
And we want to get some concrete dates because it gets to the end of the school year. They will all be during the school day, so probably start around 8 o'clock through 3 o'clock.
Okay. I know in the past, we've always had representation there. We've been somewhat flexible if one couldn't make all of them, you know, if it turns out there's a date that you can make. So, I mean, we can work that out amongst ourselves, I think.
Okay. The next thing is a competition thing. So I have 2 high school principals, and they are very competitive. And it was brought to my attention at a PTA president's meeting that we had some 8th grade parents wanting more information and wanting independent meetings with the principals and counselors because they were considering public versus private. Well, we know that the private schools give a test that is given in December, and then through January they get test results back. They can divvy up scholarships and so on and so forth. So in an effort to be competitive, Jack and Susan are meeting with parents at any time they need to. So I want to get the word out there. If you are considering a parochial versus a public, don't give up on a public. We don't cost money. Your tax dollars pay for it. We have outstanding educational programs in our schools, and we will compete with anybody you have. Jack put some things together about our ACT. If you look at the state ACT average, it's about 20.9. Our district average is about 19.9 or 20.1. But I told Jack, let's pull out the top 100. If you do our top 100 students at both schools, the average ACT is a 25, the top 30 is a 28, and the top 10 is a 29. So our kids are being very productive. They are getting full rides to universities and doing very well, the rigor that we have. The other question is about, will my kid be in an honors track? Well, we will look at the courses if they come through a parochial K through 8 or if they come through a public K through 8. We'll take into consideration what their grades are, and we'll have conversations with parents. We're just not going to dictate that, no, they won't. We see this. We will have conversations. We will work with folks. We will do anything we can. We have great offerings athletically. We have great offerings of drama. Our music departments are outstanding. We have extracurricular activities, some of which have already been mentioned tonight. Student Senate at both high schools is thriving. Some of the charity work that our kids do in some of the clubs and organizations they belong to is amazing. I could read all of them, but we have an academic quiz team, art club, Black Cultural Club, book club, Business Professionals America, chess team, Cards for Christ, Color Guard, Winter Guard, Drama Club, Driving Angels Club, all of these at both high schools, Fellow of Christian Athletes, Freshman Mentor Program. So we have tons of programs that are out there that we can get kids involved to. So we are very competitive. So I say that if somebody's watching and has questions, or anybody in the audience who has a grandson or a granddaughter who would like to attend our schools, our principals will meet with you one-on-one with a counselor present. You can do shadow days. You can send your kid to school. They can go to every class and see what the high school is about. We have some PTA presidents who are really not worried about the academics. They said, my kid does well. What offerings and opportunities are there for athletics? So we talked about all that we have there. Please? And we have Butler Tech, as we've talked about 1,000 times, which is a great option. And remember, all our Butler Tech programs, you leave with college credits in hand. We offer CCP courses, College Credit Plus, AP courses where kids can leave high school. And a lot of our kids will leave, when you talk about these top 30 to a top 100, most of them will leave with anywhere from 5 to almost a semester's worth of credit hours, maybe even a full year already in place at the university they go because of what we offer. So I just wanted to put that plug in there because it is recruiting season, so that's why we're talking about it. I think we have great things to offer in the district, but sometimes it's hard to get the word out. So they're going to start advertising on our new website, which we have up. So we are interested in your feedback on the website for any of you sitting here. If you haven't been to it, please go around. If it's not easy to navigate, let us know, talk to us. We'll try to fix some things, make it easier to find. We have some things on our schools. I did notice the 2 high schools. One high school had 4 things listed, the other had 3, but so there's little things we have to fix here and there. But what we wanted it to be is user-friendly. And if the folks out here in the audience who don't work here can't navigate it, let us know. Maybe we need to arrange some night times on some training on how to navigate it, or maybe we can put something we can email out with a video. It's amazing what you can do following the mouse here and clicking on the website and showing you how to get things. So there's a lot we can do. So the new website is out there also. Hopefully it's customer friendly to all the folks, especially our community members and our parents, and we do a lot of communication through that. We're trying to make everything easier for parents. In the past, you take a piece of paper home, you fill out an EMA, you hope it gets back to school with the kid, you hope that the signature's on it, they don't, they forget it, you have to send it back home. Now it'll be there electronically. So when you fill out one EMA, we're going to try to make it the same so it fits what the needs are for the school and the athletic piece also. Forms for parking permits, just trying to make things easier for parents and easier for community members. So I think the new website will be a great addition. Chris and Matt Fisher have worked very hard on this, and Leslie Silbernagel will continue to work with them on some other things for technology plans. But if you look at it and you see something that doesn't meet your needs, let us know and we'll work on making it better.
Todd, on that recruiting of the kids, did we ever think maybe like writing an article, Northwest Press, put something in there?
We're going to put something in there. We are going to, there was a good meeting at Colerain High School today where one year from one K through 8 building, we got 19 kids to come to us. So they're seniors now. We're going to have them come and write personal letters. We're going to deliver those to the parochial schools. We're going to have those kids give us names of family members who might be in there. We're going to try to personally address some mailings to them, write handwritten letters, do anything we can to show off what a great district we have and what our schools are doing. So, yes, we're trying everything.
Todd, another thing that, I mean, it just speaks volumes is every year at graduation when you sit there and just in awe of how many millions of dollars both high schools students are awarded in scholarship money. I mean,
it's out of this world. And you know, not only the scholarships, but somehow getting there what these kids are leaving these Butler Tech programs with certifications and what their starting salaries are. Right. I mean, we've talked about this a million times, welding, they can't find enough welders, and these welders are starting at anywhere between $50,000 and $60,000 a year right out of high school with certification. So lots of good programs, Police Academy, our robotics program and our engineering program over at Colerain High School. Our cosmetology program over at Northwest High School is now full to the seams and doing very well. But I don't mean to leave a program out, but they're all doing well. That's all I have.
Okay, at this time, this is the part in the meeting for community comments where if there's anyone in the audience that has any questions about anything that we've discussed already this evening, you don't have to fill out a card. You don't even have to come up to the podium. You can just ask a question. I know we have a guest, I believe. Did want to let you know that I think sometimes if you sit back there and it just sounds like we're all going I, 50, 50, 50, just to let you know that we all receive a copy of the meeting minutes the week before and have a few days to go over everything. So it gives us time that if we do have any questions on anything that we're getting ready to vote on, we're able to contact Todd or contact Daryl or anybody up here or anybody else to kind of get a feel and get, you know, any issues kind of ironed out before we're up here. So it's not just an automatic vote. I mean, everybody's done their due diligence to make sure they know what we're voting on. So is there anybody has any questions?
I didn't interrupt the meeting there, but I've got two questions.
Okay.
Todd, the meeting with Dan Malloy, is it open to the public?
No, it's not. But I will find out, I promise you, because we are as frustrated as you are.
Well, like I said,
we want to do what's best for the district and the community.
Well, the community has spoken quite a few times, and the problem there is a problem. I don't care what Dan says, there's no address for that place, so there can't be any report. And you ask the current police chief the same thing. The other question is, brought up about the Northwest Press and getting communications out through them. The last count I had, there was 12,000 families out of 60,000, 56,000 now in the Northwest that get this information about what's going on in the community. Suggest that you put it on the trustees' website, Colerain Township website. A lot of people get, I think there are over 417 of this new
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. We were very diligent and very concerned last time we went through with the bond levy. We didn't want people just to see publicity around the levy. It should be ongoing, because what our kids does not stop or begin because of a levy. We at Central Office have put out a monthly newsletter that she's printed for us, and she's worked very well with us. So we take turns every month from each department putting something out about what we're doing as a district. We're just going to have to push more and more to get all the good things what the kids are doing. I mean, Pauletta does the monthly updates of all the programs that are going on with the kids. We forward that to Jenny. A lot of it tells exactly what's going on with the schools and the kids. It would be a great source of information, but we will continue to work.
Is that printed up so the kids can bring home?
It's on our website.
It's on the website, and I do separate press releases for quite a number of things. If the teacher had sent me that information with a photo, I would have done a press release on the student center. That would go to all the media outlets.
Sorry, Paul, nobody brought a camera. They didn't bring their cell phones.
I can tell you that I sent quite a few press releases, and very few get printed. And I would agree with you that other schools have quite a lot printed, and they have somebody devoted full-time just to doing that. So
I, for one, want to start Chris and Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just want to touch on the new website. I actually like it, but if you touched on, Todd, it was really good idea to put like a video editorial or something on there, because I myself, I'm very tech savvy. I've helped probably 3 other employees with it and 2 community members, because it's really, I don't really think it's that friendly yet. I think you need to get some type of editorial.
Yeah, the biggest issue I saw with it day one was teachers couldn't find Progress Book, and they live in Progress Book, and it's nowhere on that front page.
I see it now.
It is now, yes. But the first couple days, so it's like anything else, but I really think, and Chris and Leslie and Daryl and Jenny, they've done some of those things. I think it'd be very easy just to have click here for how to work through. You can talk, walk through it, follow the mouse, and I think that's the only way to do it, because you would like somebody to just pull up nwlsd.org and then be able to go at it. So maybe that's the best way to do it. So thanks for your feedback.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, I was like, she doesn't know? I sent Kevin an email with exactly what you said. I said, Kevin, we need to become your #1 priority. The board is getting blindsided. It's not a lack of effort on Chris McKee. I can tell you that. So Kevin's going to either move at the rate we need him to move, or we will move past it.
Okay, and do you all have all our contact information so we can all get the same message at the same time, so we don't get any more knocks on my door?
That'd be Chris.
Okay. All right.
And really, we can only deal with 4 property owners, but we need to do with that quickly.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. We'll go to other board items. Chris?
First of all, Pam, I just wanted to again thank everybody, especially the bakery connoisseur, for that wonderful cake and the food that you had for us tonight. This is my 10th year on the board, and I've never, like you said, Pam, ever remember any kind of special dinner and all the recognition. Pauletta, thank you for what you did to put it together. Todd?
Pauletta did most of it.
Pauletta.
We talked about it in the AO meeting. She did.
And we were just sort of thinking that maybe we ought to have one of those banana cakes on a routine basis.
I'll second that.
That's all.
Okay, Michael?
Heck of a time to start my diet. But no, I really do want to thank Jenny and Pauletta and central office team for the dinner tonight and the work they do on a regular basis. And thank everybody who participated in thanking us, from Struble and from Houston and Corey Middle School for Board Member Appreciation Month. And also want to congratulate Northwest High School on the opening of the cosmetology at Butler Tech. I feel like I may be stealing a little bit of Jim's thunder here, but
That's okay.
I was unable to attend, but my wife went over there and Heather really enjoyed it.
Great. Paul?
I'm sorry I missed the meeting tonight. I was running a fundraiser this weekend, and it kind of started on Friday night, and it ended last night about 8 o'clock, and I was pretty involved at the time, and my wife said to me last night, I think you got a board meeting tomorrow night. So I thought I had read everything, but I missed Todd's weekly update. I read all the board minutes and Amy's updates, and I guess I missed Todd, so I apologize for that. I would like to thank Kevin for presenting tonight and the passion that our teachers have. It's awesome to see the things that they do in the classroom and how far above and beyond that people don't even realize what these teachers are doing. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Jim?
I want to second what Bob just said about the teachers, because I think, a lot of good things they do that the public doesn't know, what's going on, what they're doing, what they're involved in. I want to thank the administrative staff for the internet. And that's a great precedent that you guys have started, and we continue. Just kind of like in our Butler Tech meetings, they feed us at every board meeting, so I think it's something that maybe we should vote on sometime.
We don't have a culinary department here.
No, it was very good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I too, again, want to thank Sean Ryan, who is the AD over at White Oak, who started this off with inviting us. I know Paulette had a big hand in making suggestions, and people jumped on it, and I'm with Chris on this. I mean, little things go a long, long way, and we've never had anything like this. So to have the kids do this was amazing. And now that, on a personal note, we have a grandson in the district, this is getting more and more special, because I look at this and think someday I wonder if he'll check out a book in the library and see one of our names on it, and there would be nothing that would be more special to me. So I want to thank all of you for everything that you do as well, and for recognizing us. So at this time, I need a motion to move into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
So moved. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Chris, I'm sorry, Todd, I guess I should have had you do that.
Before you get up and then maybe one good photo.
Right. Did I vote? Did everybody vote?
Oh, she looks at Chris. Did you vote?
Chris, you got it.
Oh, I was waiting for the picture.
Jeez, I'll vote. The motion passes 5-0. After we get our picture taken, we will go into executive session. We may or may not be acting on something, so you're welcome to stay around. We'll be in executive session, and we'll be back out and adjourn. So at this time, I guess we'll pose for our picture.